Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my Week 1 NFL preview and analysis. This preview is for the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Jets. This game will take place at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, home of the Jets. It'll be Darrelle Revis' return back to where he spent the first part of his career with the Jets. The Buccaneers come into this year having revamped their secondary. Those are the big moves they made this year. Obviously signing safety Deshaun Goldson, and also with the trade of Darrelle Revis, they trade their first-round pick to the Jets for the star cornerback. He's coming off an ACL injury. All signs point towards him playing. Deshaun Goldson, another serious upgrade in that secondary. If you watched the Buccaneers play last year, especially in that division, they were extremely susceptible to the pass, and thus put a lot of pressure on their offense in Josh Freeman, Doug Martin, and the bunch. And I think it's going to be a good thing for this team that the secondary should be better. Okay, I think their defense will overall be a lot better because of it. Look for them to put some, they have some young pass rushers in the mix in that front seven. Look for them to get a little bit more pressure on the passer due to the fact that their back end will be a little bit better. I don't know if they'll grow leaps and bounds as a defense, but they'll be competitive as a defense, and their defense won't completely lose games for them. I mean, there's games where they were going into playing the Saints or the Falcons or whoever, is you knew this team was going to give up a lot of points, and in order to counteract that, they basically needed to have a spectacular day on offense. And I think at the stage Josh Freeman is at in his career, or at least was at last year, he wasn't ready to really be that guy to win shootouts like a Matt Ryan or a Drew Brees. He's the kind of guy who needs a steady offense around him, needs a good running game, which they got last year from Doug Martin. The hopes are that that continues this year. He has good weapons on the outside in Vincent Jackson and Mike Williams. The framework is there for Josh Freeman to take the next step. He's a guy who's had a flair for the dramatic in his career. He's also been at times inaccurate and inconsistent. So I think the jury is very much still out on Josh Freeman. If you don't believe me, look at the fact that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did draft Mike Glennon in the 4th round this year, a rookie, big-arm quarterback from North Carolina State. So if Josh Freeman does get off to a bad start this year, you're going to hear the whispers. Schiano brought in Glennon. He inherited Freeman. Is he thinking about making a change? I just think if they get off to a good start in this game and in the beginning of the year in particular, they could be off and running. And if they don't, I think you could see some problems develop with the quarterback situation. I'm one who am not a big believer in Josh Freeman. I don't know what Mike Glennon is, but as of right now, I'm not a huge believer in Josh Freeman. I am a big believer in their receivers, however, their offensive line, and Doug Martin. So we'll see how that materializes, but they should be able to move the ball on the Jets. Their defense, the warts that their defense might have are certainly not going to be exposed against this Jets offense. It's been well chronicled, the problems that the Jets have. Do I know right now who the Jets are going to start at quarterback? No, because they haven't announced it. But, if you read the tea leaves, supposedly Mark Sanchez is going to be declared out for this week. So Geno Smith will get the start. But either way, I don't think you can be too terribly, pumped up about either guy if you're a Jets fan. The Jets come into this season with a ton of questions, with not the same circus really going on. Rex has definitely tempered back the attitude at least a little bit. I expect the defense to be better than people think. I really like the Jets' defensive line, obviously led by Muhammad Wilkerson. It's a young defensive line that has a lot of potential that I think will take the next step this year. We'll see how some of these young linebacking core develop. We'll see how D. Milliner develops. Obviously, you expect Cromartie to be solid as well. They're also, have brand new safeties as well. So, a lot of question marks for the Jets. I think their offensive line will be better than last year. I like what they did picking up Chris Ivory to go along with Bilal Powell. Obviously, the problems Mike Goodson has had, we'll see how that develops. But glaring weaknesses on this team revolve around the quarterback position and the lack of skill position players on the outside. I mean, this is a team that even if Santonio Holmes comes back, coming off this Liz Frank injury, you can't look at him as being a top-flight playmaker like he was. They're really, this is going to be a Marty Morningwig's greatest accomplishment, the Jets' new offensive coordinator. If he could get any semblance of an offense out of the personnel that he has here. And we'll see how this goes here. I think the Jets offense will be a tick better than last year because I think the line will be better. And I think Morningwig's an overall better coordinator than certainly Tony Sparano was. We'll see how the Jets develop throughout the season, but I think they're going to take their lumps early. Their schedule gets a lot easier the second half of the year. But speaking about this game in particular, I look for the Buccaneers to be able to do enough on offense, and I look for their defense to do what probably a lot of teams are going to do to the Jets, hold them under 20 points. So I like Tampa Bay in this game as a 3-point road favorite at the Jets. I like them to start 1-0, and we'll see if the Jets do lose how this sort of plays out, the whole Rex Ryan soap opera, and how this affects the Jets down the line when Sanchez does come back, who becomes the starter then. That'll certainly play out in the media like the last 2 seasons for the Jets have, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for this week, Tampa Bay -3. Not overly sold on the Buccaneers this year, but I certainly think they're a little bit a notch ahead of the Jets, certainly, which quite frankly isn't really saying much. But, Tampa Bay this week, let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. I'm previewing every game of this week and also all the other 15 weeks of the NFL season. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and have a great night.